all of our faithful fans rejoice. We are back, risen from our bi-weekly tomb. Secrets and lies. Secrets and lies. A lie can travel halfway around the world, while the truth is still putting on its shoes. That's Mark Twain. This quote really represents the entirety of the Nick Castellanos debacle. A beer in the dugout and choice colorful words for your manager were hidden and spun out over several months with speculation and lies forming, slash rumors, but let's go with lies because it sounds better. And they all surrounded the benching and eventual demise of Cassie's Philly tenure. You know, secrets. Ooh, secrets. 3 may keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. That is from our very good friend, Benny Franklin. The dog said it. Your secret will be exposed. Big Tony Clark, trying to make that family tree a wreath. The head of the Players Union, forced to step down due to keeping it in the family. Yeah, so we'll find out more about that as that story evolves. Or doesn't. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this just gets swept under the rug. It's like some other big stories in the news currently that some people in administrations are trying to push to the wayside. But the Dow's over 50,000. Last but not least, congrats to Zach Bean for getting sober during the offseason and gaining a very healthy 40. Looking like the Rockies have their own Denver Dominator patrolling out in the outfield. That dude is built like a friggin' tank now. I don't know if they updated his current weight on his stats. It said 190 at 6'3". That's got to be last year. That dude's easily pushing 240, and a lot of it looks like solid muscle and some excess baby weight. But anyway, let's get into it. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, enjoy, do all the fun stuff that you usually do or don't do. I don't care, but I do care a lot. I want to hear from you. This is Drunks on the Ponds. Jay?
Cheers, brother. Holla, holla, holla. The Players are back. And as of this recording, Thursday, February 19th, tomorrow, Friday, February 20th, we will have spring training baseball. And as far as I know, none of these games tomorrow will be on TV. So
Nope.
We will have to deal with the updates from either MLB Network, if you have it, or fucking social media, which seems like a lot of us are going to have to focus on. But regardless, baseball's back, and that should always be celebrated. That being said, it has been a pretty hectic couple weeks, as Rich alluded to in his wonderful opening. And we can start in a lot of places. I think we'll obviously save the Tony Clark family reunion news for a little later in the show. And if I had to pick my starting point, personally, I would like to start with the Harper Dombrowski situation. Do a little revisit real quick. If you haven't heard, you're hearing it now. Dave Dombrowski made some comments at the end of last year and pretty much in fewer words or less said that Bryce Harper is no longer elite. Bryce Harper didn't comment on it at the time, and instead we saw a picture or a video of him wearing a shirt and a batting cage that said not elite, and it was like, okay, so Harper obviously knows.
2 still frame pictures, yeah.
And, jump to spring training. Obviously, Harper got asked the question, what'd you think? And I found his comment pretty interesting because he was like, usually we try to keep things, behind closed doors. We try to keep these like private matters. So the fact that the president of baseball operations kind of just came out and said this, like, it's a little wild. And I was like, well, that's goddamn interesting. Because if we jump back to last year, you may remember a situation where Rob Manfred and some of his goons were visiting MLB stadiums, talking to teams and whatnot. And Bryce Harper, if I remember this correctly, which I do, told Manfred to get the out.
get the out.
And for some reason, one of Rob Manfred's goons like threatened Harper. He's like, if you say something like that again, like some stupid ass comment that's like somehow like the Godfather 3 that everyone's like, oh, dude, this is awful. Anyway, so Dombrowski makes this comment. Harper's like, yeah, this is fucking weird. Like, I don't know what's up with him. Still haven't heard back from Dave Dombrowski. And I was telling Rich before we started this recording that I seen a lot of people on Phillies Twitter calling for Bryce Harper to be traded now because, you know, they're following in the footsteps of Bryce Harper's not elite because Dave Dombrowski knows baseball. Okay, let me just start this by saying in 750 simulations, there's 749 simulations where I do not trade Bryce Harper. The one time I do it is just to see what happens. The reason I'm not trading Bryce Harper is because I paid attention to this team during the years between 2013 and 2018. The years where this team was unbearable to watch. We couldn't hold a manager. Rest in peace, Ryan Sandberg. Miss you always, buddy. This team sucked. We had nothing going for it. The one time in baseball where we have a number one pick, we take Mickey Moniak. God bless him. Love him all. I love Mickey Money. But holy bombed in our face. The one draft where there's not a franchise player and we get the first round pick. Like, I had to watch this team trot out Jason Nix, Lance Nix, Michael Saunders, Brian Bogusevic, Andrew Knapp, Pedro Florimon, others to be named. You could, Tommy Joseph. Like, we traded players for these prospects who all failed. All of them. Nick Williams, loved him at the time. Bad baseball player. We signed a guy to play right field who in the middle of the season had to get eye surgery because he couldn't see. Casper Wells came out and said, yeah, I actually can't see. And he had to get eye surgery. These are the players that this team employed after our run in the late thousands, early 2010s. If you think that I'm going to look at Bryce Harper as a problem, you are out of your goddamn mind. We had, after 2018 season, we were in a weird position because we didn't have a bad year. We were okay, but we still didn't have the big piece we needed. Rhys Hoskins was looking good, which was awesome. Carlos Santana was surprisingly all right, but we needed that one piece. Who shows up at our front goddamn doorstep but a future Hall of Famer, an MVP winner who has embraced this city tenfold? Bryce Harper's like, I want to live and die in Philadelphia. Like, I don't want to go anywhere else. This is where I want to be. And everyone was like, holy shit.
In Jersey.
He's close enough. But like, to have that feeling back in Philadelphia where it was like, players want to come here. They want to play for this team. Holy what is this, butterflies I'm feeling? And then what happened? All of a sudden, free agents start looking at us differently. We're no longer the laughing stock of fucking baseball. We're all of a sudden a contender. We're making moves. We're making waves. The stadium's filling up again. People are wearing Harper jerseys. They're going crazy. People love him. He has one down year, and those same people are calling for him to lose his goddamn job.
I mean, I hate to interject, but his down year was above average compared to a lot of the league.
He finished last year with an OPS of 844. If you watch behind the scenes, you would know we talk a lot about OPS. An 844 OPS is still considered above average. Look at Harper's stats on Baseball Reference, and you will not see a single season since he came to Philadelphia with an OPS under 800. There has not been one time that he's gone under that. So is he the elite star player he was in his 20s? You know, probably not. Is he some dog shit player that we're never going to get anything out of ever again? Far from it. I'm so tired. Let me be careful how I say this because I don't want to make anyone mad. if you were not paying attention to this team in the down years, you are not allowed to have an opinion of these kind of things when the team is good again. Because you did not go through what the rest of us went through watching a dog shit baseball product for 5+ years. We have been waiting for this team to be good again, which we are, thank God. And now you want to trade Bryce Harper because of one down year and because Dave Dombrowski said he's not elite? I'm sorry, but in today's baseball world, Dave Dombrowski is considered a goddamn dinosaur. Sometimes the game passes you by. It happens. I mean, what are we talking about here, man? Like, there should never be a Harper trade rumor ever. And me, I am an emotionally attached guy. I love Harper. I would sign him until the day he wants to retire. If Harper's like, you know
42.
what? I want to play a couple years after my current contract. I'd be like, you know what? Add it on. No problem, dude. You gave us something to root for. You gave us something to cheer about. Bedlam at the bank, the grand slam against the Cubs to win it back then. Like, all these moments you gave us, you're worth it, dude. You fill the stadium for us. You help bring that positivity. You are the clubhouse leader, bar none. I'm tired of it. Rich, go ahead. I need a drink.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I want to hit on a couple of points that you said. So our rebuild was tragically filled with a lot of not even what ifs, not even why nots, a lot of why the hells. It wasn't a single, there was no sleeper picks. It was all coma picks. Like these people weren't going to wake up. They were all just, they were roster fillers. I mean, Casper Wells. I don't like that name. I just, like, no offense to the guy. I don't know if you can see this or not, but the thing is, I don't like the name Casper. That's a ghost, and that's it. There's only one Wells, in my opinion, that ever should have put a baseball uniform on, and that's Vernon Wells. I don't like you two, Austin Wells, but I'm going to disagree with you on one thing. And it's not going to be one of those things where we're going to be in disagreement about it. It's going to be one of those things where I'm disagreeing with the way you go about it. That's all. So I'm not a fan of gatekeeping, like whatsoever. I want everyone to learn the sport. I want everyone to learn whatever they want to learn. But to tell people they shouldn't have an opinion, that's not fair. They're just uninformed and they think elite is only Otani and Judge's stats. They don't think elite is anything else. I'm sorry, if you put up above average numbers every single year of your career, even years where you are hurt, mind you, the year Harper won the MVP for the Phillies, 21, he also went on the IL for quite some time. So he had a shortened season, but that's how good his numbers were. And the league looked at it upon the numbers and said, this guy is the most valuable player to a franchise. That is one of the few MVPs that makes sense when there's like a tight race. I believe the runner-up that year was Machado, which it was a close, tight race. But Harper was more important to the Phillies than Machado was to the Padres that year. That's why he was the most valuable player for the league. I'm more along the lines of now, as I do agree with you wholeheartedly, Dombrowski is not elite. He has not been elite since he came here. The only thing he's done deal-wise that has truly made sense, he's done a couple small deals that have worked out in our favor, i.e. the 1-for-1 to get Brandon Marks for O'Hoppe, to get Duran. Not a small deal, but on paper it's a small deal, if you get what I mean. Like that's not like a it's not like a blockbuster trade.
No, I would definitely consider it almost a blockbuster because Duran's still
He's
a
elite.
top closer in baseball. And,
Well, not according to the Shredder.
unfortunately, dude, who cares what the Shredder thinks? Unfortunately, we did lose our top catching prospect, but jumping in for a
Catching
quick
prospect
second,
who's
and then,
5 years away.
yeah, like when I was talking to the guy Mark about him, he said, Tait, he's not really built for the catcher position. He's going to be more of someone that gets move to first base probably sooner than later. So I mean, yeah, he's marked as a catcher, but he's not going to be a catcher when he gets up here. And I was like, all right, no problem.
Yeah, that put your mind completely at ease at losing Titan. I get it. So Dombrowski, the only true elite signing that he's done, in my opinion, was signing Turner. Overpaying for Turner, yes, but signing Turner. You had a guy who most likely, not just in my opinion, but a lot of people's opinions who actually care about numbers, outperformed Lindor last year. Better fielding percentage, better average, led the league in average, by the way. He was your NL batting champion. Good job, Trey. That is an elite sign. When you sign Max Kepler, and he is trying to juice, and he is a dirty butthole. I mean, that's not elite. So, not to get off topic, but it's still on topic. Would you consider this the same exact deal for Adolis Garcia as Kepler? Or Kepler? Max Kepler, yes.
Kepler. I mean, yeah, it's practically the same deal. You're taking someone who's had a couple down years, and you're hoping that a change of scenery is going to all of a sudden jumpstart him. The main difference between Kepler and Garcia is Garcia's built like a mansion, and Max Kepler's German. Like, that's what I take away from that. I mean, listen, I would love to see Adolis Garcia come in here and succeed. Like, I think that would be awesome. And someone asked, they're like, what would you make his baseline to, like, make Adolis Garcia a good signing? And there was one stat line that I agreed with. I was like, I'll take a 265 average, 28 bombs, and like 80 RBIs. You give me that, and I'm fine with the sign.
That's so funny because I literally have 265, 25 homers, 80 RBIs, but I also have a 985 fielding percentage.
I would take that. It'd be better than whatever we got out of Castellanos.
I mean, his fielding percentage was 1,000.
Yeah, it's easy to have a 1,000 fielding percentage when you let the ball drop in front of you and you get it on a bounce.
Yeah, dude. Hey, still 1,000. What can I say? That's elite. But back to Dombrowski, he has not done much elite for this team. I mean, he signed a GM for us who disappeared. Nobody even said, like, in the press that Sam Fold was no longer our GM. He's just, we sent him to business school. And who the hell is our actual GM right now?
Preston Mattingly, Don's son.
Okay, so that's all right. So that's a baseball mind. I mean, Sam Fold was a baseball mind, but Preston Mattingly, his binky was a baseball.
Like, you're the son of Donnie Baseball. Like, anyone that's nickname includes the sport in which he succeeded at, like, I'll take that.
How do you feel about Johnny Football?
Hey, Manziel. Guy was the party king when I was in my early 20s. Everyone wanted a Johnny Manziel jersey.
Still throwing.
Give him credit. He's still around.
All right, so not everyone who gets the mantle of the sport they play as a nickname is elite, but Donnie Baseball, the definition of him.
Absolutely. Always.
Should have been a Hall of Famer. He was just one of those guys that hung on a little bit too long, and his numbers took that nosedive because he played too long. It's a shame because Mattingly had an amazingly good career. And then injuries. Well, that's neither here nor there. But I'm glad he's on our team now as our official second in charge. I think he's a very good Joe Biden to Obama. I couldn't think of a better one. I just thought that'd be funny to picture Rob Thompson being Obama.
Listen, one of my hot takes this year for the Phillies is that, Topper is going to get relieved of his job at some point, and Don Mattingly's going to step up and be the manager. And I was like, you know what, dude? Don Mattingly with this squad, do we get the shot in the arm
Dude,
like we got with Topper?
I don't think lightning strikes twice in that scenario because honestly, how often does it happen that your manager being fired and your bench coach is the reason you make the World Series? I mean, I think that's happened, twice in history, and we're one of the two.
Yeah, but like it's not like we're taking on a bench coach that hasn't like done this before. Like having
Good
Don
times.
Mattingly step up, I'm like, I'll take Don. I'll take Don Mattingly and his odds over any other manager bench coach combo in baseball, especially with this team.
I strangely want to agree with you. We both had our issues with the way that Thompson has conducted himself, has ran the locker room. Obviously, we've seen more come to the light within the past week and a half about the actual like disgruntled veterans, or I should say veteran. You got to give Topper credit for not flying off the handle and handling it properly and just saying, you're having a seat tomorrow. We don't know if he blew up at him because I can't see a Canadian yelling. But I guess this kind of brings us into our next segment, unless you were done talking about the Dombrowski.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, I have nothing really else to say about that gray haired punk. So this brings us into our next segment of the night, the cast off. Do I feel bad? No. Am I upset about the way it went down? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because this is one of those things, ironically enough, we have to go back to the topic we were just talking about. Harper was told when he signed here, this is an organization that when there is turmoil, when there is issues, we handle them internal. They stay in the clubhouse. That's the Phillies way, and that will be the Phillies way. So you have Dombrowski running his mouth and saying things like his elite MVP players are not elite. And then you have him basically telling Castellanos that you will be an orphan. We're trying to find you a home, but we're saying it in a negative light so that it doesn't paint you well. Nothing about the way that happened was smart, or I should say business-like in general. There was no actual care. It's kind of being there from Philly, it was kind of dickheaded to just flat out be like, yo, we don't want him. So does anybody else? You put it out there like there was no option and you weren't trying to do something smart. You did it very dickheaded and just treated him like. Now, the things that he did, we only know the one instance, bringing beer into the dugout and then basically just mouthing off to your superior and being a prick. Yeah, frustrations get the best of you. It happens. Back in the day, you would have been taken out back and hit with a switch or a rubber hose quite a few times. Now, you're sitting tomorrow. You're getting benched and you're going to play when I say you can for the rest of the season. The whole situation was handled like that's not an elite front office with the way that shit was handled. That was despicable. I am very proud of Castellanos. I wish him well. I'm proud of him in the fact that he did not talk more. He did not throw people under the bus. If anything, he praised a few of his teammates, which everyone has alluded to that it was Schwarber and JT because they are elite leaders in a clubhouse. I'm going to use this word elite a lot because Dombo doesn't know what it means. But yeah, I'm on the train of Dombo got to go. Nikki, I wish you the best in Dadland.
On the Castellanos situation, I'm kind of in the middle where I don't think Castellanos handled his situation well, and I don't think the Phillies handled their situation well. And we talked about this on an earlier podcast where I think that when the Phillies made it known that Nick Castellanos was either going to be traded or released, but he was not going to spring training with the Phillies, I think right then and there, you should have given yourself a 2-week window. A 2-week window of, listen, we're going to explore trades. We're going to look for whatever we can get. If we don't get anything, we'll let you go. You can go out. You can sign with a team. You can go get acquainted with them. Spring training comes around. You guys already have a little bit of a thing going. That's fine. That's the way you should have done this. The Phillies held on to Castellanos longer than they should have. And I think that's where me personally, I feel a little bit bad for Nick because I don't think he's a bad dude. I don't want that to be a thing. Do I think that he's the same baseball player he was many years ago? Absolutely not. when there was a vote of best subtraction by a team this offseason, Nick Castellanos won by like three points. So it was like, yeah, Nick Castellanos was the one subtraction that really made sense. The funniest
Interesting.
thing was,
Go ahead.
and I was like, and I don't think, I would like to believe that the signing of Adolis Garcia didn't have anything to do with it. I would like to believe that it was just Nick Castellanos just has not been good enough to where he didn't add anything of value to the team. Did he add things in the clubhouse? Yeah, probably. Did he add moments where he probably was a leader? Sure, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't in there. Nick Castellanos as a player, though, I mean, yeah, he had his moments, but overall, man, it wasn't what we paid for. And I think of 4 years of $80 million, like if you would have showed me that stat line, if you would have showed anybody that stat line, like, would you pay for this? It would be a roaring no. And then you show them who the player is, they're like, he's doing that? Like, you're doing, hell no, we're not taking that on. Are you kidding me?
The guy who averaged 40 doubles a year.
Yeah, like we're talking, and then it's funny because when the Phillies finally released him, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I love Casty. We're gonna miss him so much." Listen, that's great. I'm not gonna hold anyone in their feelings. Like that's fine. You're gonna miss him. I don't feel that same way. It was nice watching him when he had his moments here. Like, yeah, when Casty hit like the bomb off Strider in the playoffs, and Liam's in the front row going crazy, high fiving people. Like, hell yeah, dude. Like, loved every minute of that. Went over, gave him a fist bump. Like, that was the cool that came with Nick Castellanos. The uncool was swinging at low and away sliders, striking out 3 or 4 times a day, hitting dinky little ground balls to the third baseman or the shortstop that you weren't going to beat out. It was very frustrating watching Nick Castellanos. And I do wish him the best. I do. I hope he's able to find some kind of success in San Diego. Do I think he will? Maybe. I'm not going to wish bad for the guy. Like, I don't think he's a bad person.
No. As a solo DH, he should be.
But like, I don't know. I think we're slowly beginning to see the end of Nick Castellanos, and I feel like this is kind of his last year because, like if things don't work out in San Diego, like who's really going to be willing to take another flyer on him? Like, do the Tigers call him for like a reunion tour? The Cubs, like, I don't know. There's a lot of options, but
The one story that broke after his Jersey Shore note came out was that he had Liam doing batting practice before a playoff game when JT was waiting to get in the cage. Do I find that incredibly frustrating? Yes. If I'm JT, I am livid. This is a playoff game. We have been an abysmal team at timely hitting in the playoffs. And most importantly, why is your son hitting before a playoff game? You have had all day. We have an indoor cage that you could have done this in all day. You didn't need to do this on the field when we're trying to not be victims in the playoffs so early. That's incredibly frustrating. I don't know if that was just a lapse of judgment, lapse of time, lapse of anybody actually speaking up because Castellanos is a veteran. But everyone on our team is now a veteran who was here last year. I mean, at this point, last year our team was very veteran heavy. Everyone should have had a say in some way, shape, or form. I'm a firm believer. Jay, you know me. I will voice my opinion anywhere, anytime. I am not letting stuff like that happen if I'm on that team. Yo, you gotta wait. This is not important right now. Wrap it up. Liam, I'm sorry, buddy. I'll buy you a Lexus. I don't know. Like, it's things like that that make it seem like your head wasn't in the game. You were mentally checked out. You're mentally checked out of Philly coming from 2 seasons ago where you were with Philly on air after a game saying it. I with Philly. And Greg Ansinger was he said that, but like your attitude changed for your reasons. You're a man who stands on principle. Do your thing. Do your thing in San Diego. Good for you. Glad you found a home. Other than that, I got nothing else to say about Cassie.
Yeah, I got no other points except for like a bunch of Italian South Philly moms just had their hearts broken into fucking pieces, and
He's not even Italian.
dude,
Cuban.
they've adopted him as one of their own.
I know, because his last name ends in a vowel. I get it.
That's right. No, wait, that's a vowel?
Well, no, but Castellano, like Tony Soprano, it's like that. The Sopranos, Castellanos, it's like that. It's the
Okay.
Italian sounding.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'll
that
give it to
dumb. Thank you.
you. You can take that point.
Jay, pick up something and put it down because I like talking right now.
There's a lot we can put on the table. You know, obviously we talked about, you know what? There is something I want to talk about. And like, we can't beat around this bush any longer. What the hell was Tony Clark thinking?
Oh, man.
What in God's name? I mean, listen, when he resigned out of nowhere, like we're less than a year away of the biggest CBA meeting of all time that could lead to a MLB lockout. And the president of the players union just stepped down. We're like, what? Why? Like, what happened?
Dude, immediately, my first thought was, oh shit, was he in the certain files?
I thought about it for a second. I was like, I don't think Tony Clark's that type of guy, but you know what? I'm not putting it past anybody at this point.
Neither was Stephen Hawking.
The fact, the part that made me laugh about the Tony Clark situation so much, I would love to talk to Jeff Passan about this because this floored me when Jeff Passan put the tweet out. Tony Clark has stepped down as president of the MLB Players Association president. I don't know how he found out that Tony Clark was messing around with his sister-in-law, but that is grade A digging right there. Like, Passan had to be on the phone being like, what happened? Who did what? Is he in the files? Was he on the island? What did Tony Clark do? And someone dropped the bombshell. They were like, no, Tony Clark was messing around with his sister-in-law. Passan wasted no time, dropped the bomb on Twitter, and Twitter exploded. And yes, I still call it Twitter. I'm never going to call it the other one. Man. It's still Twitter. Sultan. We're never calling it the other one. It's Twitter. Anyway, he dropped the bombshell on Twitter, and everyone was like, what do you mean that was his sister-in-law? And the first question everyone asked was like, okay, was it his brother's wife? Was it
his wife's sister?
I was going to say, I know Rich is really going to be down with this one. Was it his wife's sister? Like, you know, how was
it his sister's wife?
It could have been any one of them.
It's 2026.
It could have been.
Anything's possible.
I think we're all just waiting for the bombshell at this point. Like, who was it? Show me a picture.
I mean, we all know the cookout's going to be weird from here on out, but also he's definitely trying to make that family tree a wreath, and it's weird. And all I think of is Euro Trip. It's not the same, but it's the same. Dude, you made out with your sister, but it's not worse, but it's worse, but it's not worse because this is bad because he hired her in 2023 to work in the players union. Work. I don't know what kind of work she was doing. I don't know if we could look that up. I mean, I guess it's public information, but also I don't care. But
I don't care to find out what she was doing in the office. Well, if it was going down in the office, I most certainly care to find out what was happening in the office.
Absolutely. That'd be awful.
But her actual job, don't care. Doesn't mean anything.
No, I don't care what time she showed. Actually, I do care what time she showed up and what time she went home. That's important to the story. The thing that really matters, dude, is your sister-in-law. What were you thinking, Tony Clark? You have the biggest argument of your life in 8.5 months. And you're like, I saw you at the last barbecue. How you doing? Come on, man.
Honestly, credit to him.
No.
I'm assuming Tony Clark had had one of those secretary fantasies?
Ah,
I can only imagine. Like, the hot secretary walks off. She's like, here's your paperwork. And Tony Clark's like, yeah, you can just put that on my desk. And, it goes from there.
yeah.
I can't imagine Tony Clark went and did that. And the only thing that could honestly make this funnier is if the new president, oh Christ, Rich, what's the president's name? The new one?
Bruce Meyer.
Bruce Meyer. The only thing that can make this better is if Bruce Meyer himself is in trouble and then he steps down. Like, it's going to be a rotating circus that I genuinely.
So
I want to see how this goes into the meeting next year.
as of right now, if I were to be guaranteed an interview with Bruce Meyer, there's only 2 questions that I have for him right off the bat. The first question is, what are your goals to achieve with this next CBA? How do you plan on implementing those goals in your tactics of winning the CBA? Because let's face it, you want to win the CBA, not come to an agreement. So, my second question, what does your sister-in-law look like? It's important. Please answer. You don't, okay, you grew up with all sisters and they're all married to men. What do your brothers-in-law look like?
You have no idea how that swing goes. It could go forward, could go backward.
No comment. No comment. Okay, I'll take that as hot. All right.
Undecided.
So yeah, he does have tremendously big shoes to fill. Thankfully, he was kept in the loop because he was the assistant president of the MLBPA, which there was a rush re-election for him. He was already included in everything, so good for him. The only thing he wasn't included in was private meetings with Tony Clark and his sister-in-law. So yeah, that's great. I'm glad he has all the knowledge that he needs to continue this, and they're not just bringing in like a gun for hire, no mercenaries. I'm very happy that it's someone who's just in tune. That's really all I got to say about that. But we'll see how it works out in 8.5 months. I mean, if I was him right now, I'd be on the phone. I'd be on the phone trying to figure this out. Tony Clark was a very stubborn man. Wouldn't take no for an answer. So, I mean, hopefully Brucey is a lot nicer and not a pushover, but also can stand his ground. Say no when temptation hits.
Rich, do you know the best way to sum this up?
I'd like to know your opinion on this.
My opinion on this is that there are good wieners and there are bad wieners. Tony Clark has a bad wiener. But you know what a good wiener is? Wolfgangs. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your Wolfgang Weenie of the Week. Brought to you by Wolfgang's Wieners. And shocking here because you would think it's gotta be Tony Clark, right? Tony Clark screwed the players, and well, guess what? It wasn't the players he was screwing. We are going to turn the tide, and thanks to Rich at the beginning of our video call, brought this back up, and I gotta agree with him. I think that this needs to be handed out to this very specific person and his company. If you do not know who I'm currently speaking of, let me tell you a little story about how a man named Michael Rubin ruined every single sport with his company, Fanatics. Recently, obviously, the Boston Red Sox got their jerseys and they looked awful. I know what you're probably thinking. How can you ruin the Red Sox uniform? It's pretty easy, right? Well, not easy enough for Fanatics, I guess, because instead of the lettering being red and Sox with the red stripe and then the buttons down the middle, obviously nice, evenly spaced. What does Michael Rubin do with Fanatics? He just puts red in Sox right here with the 2 red lines and a white button down the middle. And I know it sounds the same, but when you see the pictures, the letters were way too close to the lines. It looked jumbled. It looked awful. And the Red Sox came out and they were like, yeah, dude, like these jerseys are not it. But Fanatics is going to do their best to, make it better. And, we appreciate the effort and all that. And everyone was like, hell yeah, dude, screw Fanatics. Then for some reason, the Boston Red Sox came out and just redacted their entire statement. That they're like, you know what? Like, it's not Fanatics' fault. Like, we did tell them that we wanted to try this new thing and they were just doing what we asked. No, they weren't. No, you didn't. And no, they weren't. The fact that you came to the defense of Fanatics when they have been blowing every single sport. You can look at the Patriots jerseys from the Super Bowl this year. NFL logo's crooked. The Patriots logo's crooked. They're spelling Drake May wrong. Their Super Bowl logo's in the middle of their chest. It's awful. Fanatics has screwed everything up. Michael Rubin needs to do the world a favor and go away. I'm not saying he needs to go down a sewer slide, but he needs to go away. Like, this is insane. These printed jerseys are god-awful, and the fact that they're charging upward of $200+ for it is even worse. It costs you not even $10 to make the damn thing, and you're upcharging for it. And then people are getting their jerseys and spelled wrong, the letters are crooked, and then we have to mail it back? Like, are you kidding me? What is this? Like, how can anyone sit here owning a company like Fanatics who bought out all of their competition, mind you? Like, everyone's like, bring back Majestic. We want Majestic. They're gone. They were bought by Fanatics. Majestic is no more. Reebok,
And
the hockey jerseys, the nice ones, gone.
Majestic buy out Mitchell and Ness?
No, Fanatics bought them.
That's why everything sucks. All right. Got it.
Like, everything is awful under Fanatics. I don't understand why we continue to allow this company to keep doing this. Like,
The knockoffs that I have are better.
Like, when have the consumers all of a sudden just started accepting plates of? Like, what happened to having standards for the we were getting? Like, we used to get nice jerseys. We used to get nice shirts, nice hoodies, whatever. We used to get it, and it was nice. There wasn't anything wrong, and if there was something wrong, you reached out, you got a new one, no problem. Fanatics can't even do the simplest right. They didn't have enough Drake May jerseys in stock for the Super Bowl because they didn't plan ahead. Like, how? How have we gotten to a point of accepting this? Like, this is awful. Fanatics needs to just go away and give everyone their jersey rights back, get Majestic back in baseball, give hockey jerseys to Coho, Reebok, whoever. Keep making basketball jerseys. I don't care, but like, stop this shit, man. I'm done with it.
Yes, I do wish Majestic would come back. However, I'm not opposed to just letting Nike actually take over, letting Reebok take over, letting Adidas take over. 3 companies that actually pride themselves on quality and then don't say deal with it. And for some reason have a stranglehold on one of the oldest franchises in sports to literally redact, no, we're going to get this fixed. We agree. This is an issue. To literally saying, we love Fanatics. Everything about Fanatics is glorious. We've never had a complaint about Fanatics. Not once. Everything about them is perfect. We love our leader. Every day is sunshine and rainbows. Like, what does Fanatics have on sports? Are they the low ball? Everyone's like, dude, you can't compete with that. This is like that movie War Games with Jonah Hill and Miles Teller, where they're like, you guys came in at a bid we just couldn't pass up. Or War Dogs. Yeah, not War Games. Like, selling guns to the government. And they said, you guys came in at a bid we just couldn't pass up. And then Jonah Hill goes, hang on, how different was our bid? Several $100,000. Or several $100 million, something like that. And we're like, oh, So Fanatics was just like the lowball company, and they were like, oh, man, we put a lot of money on the table and we didn't take it. So I guess we're just going to have to screw everything up until, yep, we just suck. Fanatics is awful. They have not done right. I'm so happy they have not touched the hats. The second they start ruining hats, I have a fear that I will no longer be purchasing baseball gear ever again if they take hats.
So I know you said you want like Nike, Adidas, Reebok to step back up, but I mean, Rich, I have terrible news for you. Nike and Fanatics are like this. Like they're in a long-term partnership. Like I have a Phillies Fanatics jersey upstairs and Nike's on it. It's obviously printed, but this is where we're at in sports. This is where we're at in the world, where people make for pennies and we buy it for thousands. Like,
Yeah.
This is the frustrating part about where we're at as a society, is that we're just accepting because there's nothing else. Like it's
by the way,
it's genuinely frustrating. I can't say it enough. It's maddening.
by the way, to our viewers, this is still our Weenie of the Week.
But yeah.
We despise this company. We talked about this at length last year. So, I mean, Jay and I have said, since we're several weeks into Weenie of the Week, let's give you guys a little bit of our game plan for the season. We're going to have a Weenie of the Week every week, starting from 2 weeks ago. This is our third Weenie. It's more than two hands. As of right now, our goal is to have a Weenie of the Week competition to see who was the worst Weenie of the Week. We'll probably do a mid-season, and then we'll do an end of season, and then we'll obviously have mid-season and end season, touch tips and see which one's worse. I am going to go out on a limb right here and say Fanatics might be the biggest weenie we'll talk about, barring what we see throughout the season. Obviously, the old saying, Jay's heard it a million times, I've heard it a million times as well. You see something new every day on the field.
It do be facts.
We might see some super big weenies that just we've never seen compete before. We might see a 6-foot long weenie.
Sure as hell hope not.
Hey, that's the average height of an MLB player. So, just saying.
I mean, yeah, I was set on giving Tony Clark the Weenie of the Week award, and then when you brought Fanatics back into the picture, I was like, you know what, dude? Like, there's only one way. There's only one way this goes, and it goes to Michael Rubin and his company, Fanatics, for your third official Weenie of the Week. Always brought to you by Wolfgang's Wieners. I gotta tell you, last Sunday, I don't know if you saw the story on Instagram media, brother.
It was one of the best days I've ever seen. So proud
I
of you.
hammered down some Wolfgangs. Like, I had a Gatorade Zero. I've been drinking Gatorade Zeros now because, I don't know, I'm trying to get myself in better shape. Obviously, I'm slipping a Michelob Ultra in here and there.
Honestly, listen, hey, I appreciate the zeros. Switch to Powerade Zero. Better flavor.
I was never big on Powerade, I'll be honest with you.
No one is. However, there's zero, better flavor than Gatorade Zero.
I'll
give it a shot. Not an endorsement.
Yeah, obviously not an endorsement.
Not an ad.
Not until Powerade pays us.
Well, that would be Coca-Cola, and I don't think we're going to deal with that.
Not for a while, at least. But, dude, I hammered down like 3 or 4 Wolfgangs that day. I was going. Like, you know that feeling when you cook up like the perfect hot dog? It smells good. The whole house, you're just like, oh,
yes,
smells like a hot dog.
Perfect.
Absolutely slamming, dude. Devoured some Wolfgangs, and I had reached out to Mr. Wolfgang and I asked him, I said, hey, listen,
Such a good guy. Such a good guy.
like, I got to ask you. He's like, yeah, what's going on? Like, you all right? I said, no, yeah, no, everything's fine. I said, dude, I am running through hot dogs over here. I said, I don't think the 8-pack's enough. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, brother, I just had 4 in one day. I'm hammering down 2 at a time. I got 4 left. I'm going to be out of hot dogs by Tuesday. I said, listen, I'm not telling you how to run your business, but I think we need to step it up. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I think we got to go 30-pack of hot dogs.
Oh, yeah.
He said, what do we do
Rack?
about
A rack.
a rack of Wolfgangs? Come on.
That's
And he asked me, he said, what do we do about the rolls? And I said, Mr. Wolfgang, I'm going to be honest with you. You throw me 30 rack of hot dogs, I'm putting them on 30 Martin's potato rolls every day of the week.
yeah.
I said,
Only rolls to put hot dogs on. Thank you.
I said, it is the best combination of all time. And he said, let me call Mr. Martin. I said, oh my God. I said, oh my God. Are we getting a Wolfgang's Martin partnership here? Are you kidding me? Is this what we're doing? He said, I'll call you back. I said, oh my God. I haven't heard from him yet. You know, obviously we're still waiting for the news. But
yeah, it's okay.
We'll definitely keep you guys updated. Obviously, if you can't tell, me and Rich, big fan of the Wolfgangs. Big fan of Wolfgangs. Love the Ween Dogs. Incredible. And while you still have 9 days left in the month of February, spring training's around the corner. Why don't you go down to your nearest Wolfgang shack, grab your spring training Frank. Nice little hot dog. Beautiful Martin's potato hot dog bun. Get a little yellow mustard drizzle on there.
As of tomorrow, every hot dog from here until the end of October is a ballpark hot dog.
That's fair. And every ballpark hot dog is a Wolfgang's.
Should be.
Yeah, get yourself a spring training Frank. A little bit of yellow mustard on top. A little bit of relish on top of that. Topping this boy off with crispy onions. I'm telling you. I'm probably going to go throw some together after this. There's nothing better than a good old Wolfgang's. There's nothing better. You can't tell me there's anything better. It's like, Jay, what about a free beer? Yeah, free beers are good, but you know what's even better? The smell of Wolfgang's radiating throughout the house that the whole family's going, damn, I guess he's cooking up the 30 rack today.
Nothing better than a hot wiener smell.
But, as always, Wolfgang's Wieners. Slapping wieners and buns since 1901. If you're going to stick a wiener in your mouth, make sure to make it a Wolfgang's. Love always to Mr. Wolfgang.
Okay. Man, I love Wolfgangs. I'm so happy that we get to just talk about them. Like, I don't even care if they sponsor us. I'm just happy we get to talk about them. But I do love that they sponsor us. But
it's a great sponsorship.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about something really just, it's like knocking the wiener off my plate.
Do tell.
Absolutely taking the wiener out of my hands. And just, it's ESPN and their affiliation with the MLB. Absolutely. What they are doing to baseball is handing you a cold wiener, uncooked, straight out of the fridge, and saying, eat it. Enjoy it. It's what you get. But thankfully, NBC, your Olympics provider, our Olympics provider, has stepped up, and they have now taken the mantle for Sunday Night Baseball. For the first time since 1990, Sunday Night Baseball will not be aired on ESPN. In a lot of ways, I am fully okay with this, because ESPN is just proving, at this point, foot by foot, not a hot dog pun there, because it's a foot further every single year, MLB's feet are out the doors. Even though they just signed another deal with them last year, which makes no sense for broadcasting rights, ESPN has officially dropped Sunday Night Baseball in favor of something that I'm actually okay with. I'm cool with it. I got no problems with it, because for the past several years, internet trends has become 100% words that people live by. Hey, Jay, what is Saturday for?
As far as I remember, Saturday is for the boys.
Correct. Yes, thank you. Internet trends have won that one, and it has been officially stamped, signed, sealed, delivered. Some y'alls. It is official that Saturday is for the boys. Sunday is now for the girls on ESPN. WNBA and I guess National Soccer Women's League. I don't know what NSWL stands for. Weird.
Like,
Yeah. That's
I was waiting to see if you were gonna get it or not.
I wasn't looking that up. But I am
Yeah,
proud that they are now having an individual night.
it is the National Women's Soccer League. You were correct.
Oh, I guess I just wrote it down wrong. It's NWSL. I put NSWL. I looked at it, I was like, that's wrong, right? I was like, I went, go with it. Go with it. So yes, the partnership of Sunday Night Baseball, the na has officially came to an end. Now we get starting up before each game because there's a peacock compared to the ghost of Stuart Scott. I didn't know what else to say about ESPN. Okay, the ghost of Chris Berman. Sound like a fat fucking chicken. Chris Berman's not dead. He doesn't work for him anymore because he's like 85 or something. I don't know. I don't care. That's the last time baseball was important to ESPN is when they had all the rights to almost everything important to baseball. It's been quite a while. I don't even want to say good luck, good riddance because who cares? Peacock's going to be better for it. Guarantee it. Everyone has NBC because it's NBC and Peacock. Not everyone has ESPN. Everyone has NBC. Good for baseball.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this goes. I will miss Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Nah, to be honest, I probably won't because
You won't hear Eduardo Perez sounding like Andre the Giant.
My memory of Sunday Night Baseball was Joe Morgan, the old score ticker. Like that is my memory of Sunday Night Baseball. The new Sunday Night Baseball, it never really hit the same. So
Eduardo Perez, Doug Glanville.
yeah, probably something like that. It never did anything for me. So I'm not going to miss it.
Agreed.
I'm looking forward to seeing how how NBC handles it. The best thing that they can do is get two guys who share the love of the game that Joe Morgan and his broadcasting partner. Oh my gosh, why can I not remember it? Oh, this is going to drive me crazy. John Miller. That's right. John Miller and Joe Morgan. The way they called baseball on Sunday nights was amazing. Like you could turn it on, you recognize both their voices. The way the TV was set up, it was beautiful. The new Sunday Night Baseball just never hit the same. But as time goes on, you get worse jerseys and baseball leaves ESPN. Only for Sundays, though. So, I guess we'll see what they do for the Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game, all the shit like that. But I definitely think that it is about that time that we jump, hop, skip, swim, fall. And the final thoughts. Welcome to the bottom of the ninth inning. And Richie, I'll ask you, would you like to lead off or you want to bat second?
Sure, I'll lead off. So earlier when Jay and I, and the aforementioned slight debate over who the weenie of the week was, not even a debate, just the quick thought process of being like, no, that one makes sense. It crossed my mind to potentially give a big old weenie of the week to the one, the only. I carry a bedazzled purse, Jazz Chisholm. However, I'm not going to give him that because I like his dreams of grandeur in this case. I do not think they're possible because I can't remember the last time you were healthy enough to do this. I was in disbelief when I also heard the glowing backup friend absolutely behind him saying, I'm rooting for you. I know you can do it. Jazz Chisholm has said that he could be the second player to beat 50 home runs, 50 solo bases. We're talking about a guy whose career high was this past year and also career high in games. And he went 30-30. He played in 130 games. So he thinks within 30 more games, he could hit 20 more home runs. and steal 20 more bases. Jazz, keep being you. Eventually, you will be Weenie of the Week. Just keep being you. We thank you. This day in baseball history, I'm bringing it back because for the past couple weeks, there has not been much going on, obviously, besides people freezing to death. So, on this day in baseball history, in 1953, Ted Williams safely crash landed his plane on a mission in Korea during the Korean War. Name me a more badass thing than that.
Nope.
I thought. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So, Jay, I'm keeping it short. You take over and make this one count. Because good luck beating Ted Williams.
Certainly can't beat Ted Williams, but I can give a little story that I once heard about Ted Williams in baseball. Is that two people were having a conversation, and he asked the other person a question. He said, "You, your father, and Ted Williams are fishing. Ted Williams and your father fall off the boat. Who are you saving?" The other guy looks at him confused, and he said, "Are you kidding me? My father couldn't even hit 200. So quick little story. I forget where I heard that one, but
It's a great joke.
That's one of that's one of my favorite stories ever.
It's fantastic.
Couple final thoughts. One being, Wednesday, March 4th. Write this down in your schedule because this is a game that if it gets televised, you are not going to want to miss this game, and I promise you are going to understand why in a second. Team USA is going to be playing an exhibition game Wednesday, March 4th. It's at 2:00, so you may be at work, so I would like to just maybe tell you to
Pull it up on your phone.
and pull it up on your phone because Team
Ignore the
USA will be playing an exhibition game against your Colorado Rockies. They could have faced anybody. They could have played anybody. They could have played the Dodgers. That would have been entertaining. But no. They put the Avengers on one team and then a team of, compared to the Avengers, Little Leaguers. You're facing the Pee Wee champions of like the Appalachian Mountain League. You're playing.
Not as Zach Veen's playing. He's their Incredible Hulk, dude.
I don't think Zach Veen's going to be able to save this, if we're being completely honest. But
I can't wait.
That's just something to keep an eye on because Team USA playing the Rockies is like watching the Hulk fight a preschooler. Like, you don't want to watch it because you're like, no, dude, he's going to kill him. But you watch it anyway because you're like, how bad is this really going to be, though? Like, I think that's where we're all at mentally with how that's going to go.
I don't want to interject on your final thoughts, but speaking of how bad is this going to be, did you see the most recent 2 Netflix fights that are going to happen? A boxing and a UFC?
No, because I don't watch fighting.
Well, it is Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano. Cool. Good job, guys. And Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather. Who likes money?
Super.
Who likes money? They do. Just them. Not the people watching it. Because we're getting screwed out of money because we're paying for that. Even if we don't watch it, we still paid for it.
If anyone's paying to watch that, you should have a brick thrown at your head.
We are paying to watch it. It's Netflix. Even if we don't watch it, we still paid to watch it.
I will get rid of Netflix right now to make sure that they are not getting $19 from me. Like, I will do that immediately.
Oh man, Tony Clark's going to be real upset because he shares his Netflix with his brother.
Yeah, he's definitely getting kicked off that account.
Yep.
And then for my last final thought, I owe an apology. I owe a very sincere apology. I put up a video on the Infield Media Instagram talking about Chris Bryant and how bad the deal was. And, you know, Chris Bryant's not healthy. And, you know, when are we ever going to see him healthy again? Chris Bryant came out and he talked about his back problems. And when you realize just how serious these kind of things are, it really does change a person's perspective. Like, he came out and he said he wakes up in pain every day. Like, this isn't easy. He wants to be out there, and how much this really sucks for him. And listen, I get it. I mean, I don't get the pain he's in, but I understand wanting to be somewhere that you just can't be. And
Right.
I truly feel for the guy, because Chris Bryant seems like one of the more genuine dudes in baseball.
Always have been.
I couldn't imagine the pain that he's in. Like, this sucks. Like, we've seen players go down with injuries that just nag and nag and nag, and you're like, it's like, all right, man, like this really sucks for you. I'm sorry, but when you get to the human level of Chris Bryant just being in pain every day, like, obviously Chris Bryant wants to be out there. Obviously he wants to contribute. He wants to help turn the Rockies around. His body is just not letting him. And, I made a video that was just it was very critical on him, considering it one of the worst contracts in baseball, which you look at it from a perspective, it is, but it was very mistimed. And,
It was very Anthony Rendon.
Yeah. There was a touch of Anthony Rendon anger in there. And
yeah,
I
understood.
And
we
it
didn't
sucks,
know it was
man.
a degenerative bone disease. Like, his vertebrae is compressing itself. It sucks, dude. It's horrible. I thank you so much for coming out and making that apology. To be honest, I watched the video. I was on your side, and then the news came in. I forgot you made the video. I'm glad you made the apology, because it's the right thing to do, especially to someone who doesn't deserve the hate. But we didn't know how bad the disease is. And I mean, that's just a standard case of foot and mouth. We didn't know. No one knows until obviously the truth is out. Jay, I applaud you for being a man and apologizing.
No, and obviously, I hope Chris Bryant's able to figure it out. I hope there's something out there that can help this dude. Love seeing
Agreed.
Chris Bryant on the field, even though he can't contribute the way he wants to. Chris Bryant is good for baseball, no matter how you look at it. When Chris Bryant's on the field, baseball's a little bit better. And we would love to see him out there again. I would love to see him get back to his all-star form if he's able to. But obviously prayers are up to Chris Bryant. Come back soon, brother.
Beautifully said. I believe that's it. We're going to end on a sad note, but also let's call it a Conan avenged note, where Jay is trying to avenge his own tomfoolery. So, Jay, thank you for that. It takes a man to admit when he's wrong. And it also takes men to just say, hey, the show's over.
It is about that time. And, as always, we thank you guys for tuning in, listening. We appreciate the support. And as always, we're always posting on Instagram, TikTok, all the places you love to see us. But
stay drunk. Please.
Definitely stay drunk. But, Z, I need you to do me a favor, baby. Hit that music. Because it's time for us to get the hell on out of here. Peace.